Ladies, gentlemen, and Haradrim of all ages, with new seasons comes new news, and Diablo 4 is no exception. Over the last week, there have been plenty of developments, both around the game itself from the developers, and actually from members of the community as well. We have a lot to talk about today, from trading currently being disabled in-game, to the devs' official stance on nerfs for the future of Season 2, some updates on the official Blood Harvest, a potential future crossover that we could have for Diablo 4, and then arguably the biggest thing here as far as I'm concerned, which is solid, undeniable progress on unlocking the cow level in Diablo 4. Starting off then with the official developer stuff, trading in-game was disabled around a day and a half ago due to the emergence of a new duplication glitch, and from what I can tell, this was mostly due to the existence of the boss summoning materials for the 5 new unique target farming endgame bosses. To summon one of them, you need certain materials that you have to spend time gathering, and to incentivize group play, they allow you to trade these items between party members to maximize the boss fights you can do. But apparently, players worked out a duplication glitch where they could trade away their boss summon materials while also creating a second copy that stayed in their inventory, and of course this messed with the farm loop in unintended ways and got the whole trading system just shut down until the developers can work out the cause and snuff it out completely. So basically, if you're wondering why you can't trade people anything right now, it's because of this. A few people who apparently will be actioned upon in accordance with the EULA found an exploit and went hard enough on exploiting it that it broke a piece of the game. That's the only official update then, and hopefully trading will be back online tomorrow or maybe even later today. After that, we have some tweets, specifically mainly this one from Joe Shelley, saying that they are glad players are having fun with Season 2 and that they have no plans to nerf it. That is an extremely wide umbrella statement, but it says a lot. It covers a lot of questions that players had. The new gold gain is insane. Maybe they'll be toning it back. The XP rate's really solid. I bet they'll bring it down a bit. Hey, this vampiric power or that vampiric power feels ridiculously over vampiric powered. Here comes the nerf. Whoa, this boss is supposed to have like a heightened drop chance on Uber Uniques, but he's actually dropping them for people? That seems like a mistake. Nope, not even a little bit of it. All of it is staying exactly as it is right now for the rest of the season. Every one of those things, which means if you're enjoying how things are feeling right now in Season 2, they should only improve as we get to things like patch 1.2.1 in the upcoming weeks. Nothing is set to be nerfed. Nothing at all. And that is really big news. On the last note about Uber Uniques that I mentioned there though, as if to make a point, in response to this tweet from Joe Shelley, this user tags a Harlequin crest that they got. And we also have this user snapping a picture of Duriel's visage, which honestly is looking just so solid with that 3% lifesteal right now, 15% attack speed, and full poison resistance. That's just nasty good. Past that, it's just an update on something that we talked about the last time that we did one of these news videos. Diablo 4 is basically running an actual blood drive. If you donate blood in the United States, you can report it on this website. As we reach higher numbers there, we will have new cosmetics that will be unlocked for the entire community at the end of the event. And your update on this is that we are, as of right now, at 36% of the goal, which means the whole community is getting that large host of cosmetic weapons for free. So, you know, if you like any of those weapons, you should thank those people in the US that are participating in this. And if you are someone who participated in this, thank yourself. Then moving on, we have a genuinely pretty big deal, which is an article from PC Gamer interviewing the director of Final Fantasy XIV, one of the biggest games in the world, and them saying that they really do want to do a crossover with Diablo. The article itself doesn't really get into more detail, even if you read the whole thing. There's not like any public talks underway between the two franchises. All we know is that the gates are pretty open for the prospect of a crossover between Diablo and Final Fantasy XIV, and I think that could give us some fun cosmetics at the very least. More than anything, it's basically just a big stamp of approval from the director of another massive live service game saying, hey, I really like this, and that's just interesting to see at this point in time. As for what any of this could actually result in, of course, I don't know, but Final Fantasy is definitely known for its unique crossovers, to say the least, so I think there's a pretty big chunk of actual possibility that this could lead to something at some point in the future. And if it somehow results in a 3-way crossover with Final Fantasy and Fall Guys, well, you know, I'd be down for whatever strange hell that would be. Then we have probably the biggest thing going on in the last couple of days, which is absolutely major progress on the cow level being found in Diablo 4. The search has been mostly headed up by the thousands upon thousands of members of the Not Finding a Cow Level Discord channel. Make sure to check it out for yourself if you want to see more details, or just join in on the hunt itself. To round up the main things that were going on before the season, the player base had found an interesting cow-based fountain in Ked Bardu. There was a lot of other things too, but the fountain seemed to be the main player. We also had seen a lot of things in the files that just weren't actually available in the game. This fountain that we found, though, was said to cleanse certain items, and while data miners were able to find that the items did exist within the actual coding of the game, after months of trying, it was decided that they weren't actually available to drop within the game in its current state. Then, of course, came Season 2 and patch 1.2, and suddenly things changed up massively. Why? Because the drops were let out. They could now happen, and of course there wasn't any announcement of this from the devs themselves. Why would they tell us that? No, no, no. This was something that was only found because a member of the Not All Cow Level Discord just decided to kill a bunch of cows one day, because as it turns out, there are 3 relic items. These are what were data mined before. Each one of them drops after you have killed a total of 666 cows, and the specific relic that you get depends on which zone that you kill your final cow within. Apparently there's a weekly reset required on this, which is a hilarious note as well. You can only get one of them per week, but it seems you can also trade around these relics to party members, so a group of 3 can get all of the relics together once per week. Once this was found, the gates were opened. People brought the relic items to the fountain in Ked Bardu and cleansed them as we thought we had to, and, well, it actually did work. This clue had been properly understood by the community, and of course the result of this is the player being given a very specific key. If you've seen any prior videos that I've made talking about the cow level discoveries, you may know where this is going. On the eastern tip of Skosglen, there is an area that just sort of looks a little bit like a cow, and on the very tip of where the cow's nose would be, there is in the game files a cellar that exists, but not one that you can normally access in the game by just coming over here, unless, of course, you have the specific key from cleansing the relics in the fountain. You can unlock it with the key, and then inside of it you can find 28 cows. That's right, there's just 28 cows in a little room, and once you defeat them, you get an old dusty stamina potion. The assumption being made by the main detectives on the case is that drinking this stamina potion in the right specific location or at the right time will lead to the next step, but the amount of progress gained this quickly is actually really quite astonishing. In one fell swoop, we went from knowing about a lot of things that we couldn't really do to having people actually being able to do all these things that we knew were possible, and then reach a whole new step that hadn't even been talked about yet, really. No one was discussing what to do after we got into the cellar, because getting into that cellar in the first place was such a major goal that we were so blocked on, and now it feels like we've just made so much progress, but also like we haven't quite accomplished anything proper until we get the actual goal of getting into the cow level. That said, it's really quite impressive nonetheless. The collaborative work from the community to get us as far is just staggering, and I'm really interested in the way that Blizzard is just sort of secretly releasing the cow level one patch at a time, just one new little puzzle piece for players to work out, though I of course do wish that the full thing was just in the game at launch, but that can be said for so many things in relation to this game. To sum things up for the day then, trading is currently disabled because people found a way to get infinite endgame boss spawns, which is obviously a problem. There are no nerfs at all planned to any of the various parts of the Season of Blood, not to resource gains or leveling speed or vampiric powers, not to a single section of it, and that is quite an exceptional stance for the devs to be taking, considering earlier moves within the game's lifespan. If they stick to this, that's great, because nothing is broken enough that it ruins anything by any means. It just means that they have to stick to their guns and just let stuff be a little bit overpowered for a bit, which is something that they promised us they would do. Uber uniques seem to be dropping like crazy for the people who can properly farm Duriel now, which is really awesome to see, and I hope to one day get one for myself too. And as far as the real life blood harvest, we have reached the first milestone and unlocked our first reward. Then we just had some speculative discussion from the director of Final Fantasy XIV and his desire to do a collaboration with Diablo, and then also a nice big chunky update on everything going on surrounding the cow level in Diablo 4 as well, as we get ever so much closer to actually being able to enter it ourselves. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown, and I hope you're still having fun with your time in Season 2. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.